Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name is Lily and today we're going to be doing my February manga haul. I got a few volumes that I want to show you that I got from Yen Press. Thank you so much Yen Press for sending me some of these volumes to read and review, and I got some two I think used books as well as one pre-order and then also two volumes that arrived a while ago from SciFier.com, and I got those I think from my December order, but I received them in January and then I opened them and I just want to share with you what I got. And then I have this one which I ordered on the 1st of February, so that's when my buying ban ended, so I ended up not buying anything in the whole month of January, and then on the 1st of February I did a big SciFier order. And yeah, I have two more books in this order coming, but one was a pre-order and another one was just out of stock, so they ended up sending everything that was available. So yeah, let's get unboxing. So the first ones I'm going to show you is the ones that I got from Yen Press and Easy Press. So the first one here we have is Higurashi When They Cry. This one, I actually don't really know much about the Higurashi kind of franchise or series, so I can't really tell you much about it, but this one was a new release that came out and I know a lot of people who are Higurashi fans were excited about this one. And then we got Witch Life in a Micro Room. This one is a kind of slice of life witchy series where two witches are kind of set in the modern day world and they're trying to make a name for themselves and also make money, but they pretty much just take one day at a time, so it's very like slice of life. It looks really cute and I'm excited to try this one. And then another one Yen Press sent me was Bride of the Barrier Master. This one kind of gives me My Happy Marriage vibes. It's basically about a girl, Hannah, who is always overshadowed by her older sister who is more powerful than her. And this world, people have magical abilities and the families are basically have a very high reputation if their powers are very strong. And so she's kind of put into the shadow because she doesn't have very strong abilities like her sister, but then one day her abilities awaken and she's actually really, really powerful, but she ends up just keeping it on the down low because she just wants to live a peaceful life, and also people didn't treat her fairly because of obviously she was always in the shadows, and so she doesn't really want her power to come to light so that she can just hide it. And later on, there's this new leader of this clan and he is seeking a powerful bride so that they can be compatible because he's quite powerful. And then I think they end up meeting and he finds out that she's actually really powerful, and then it kind of starts from there. So it kind of has that, I guess, My Happy Marriage vibe because she was kind of overshadowed by her sister, but she's actually really powerful, and that's kind of where the similarities are. But I think this one's a little bit less traumatic in terms of the themes that happen in My Happy Marriage, and it's more lighthearted from what I can tell. But yeah, excited to try this one and see how I like it. And then I got one manhwa from Easy Press and it is See You in My 19th Life. So this one is about a girl who is able to remember the past of her previous lives. So she's able to remember everything that happened in her previous lives, as well as kind of if she gained any kind of knowledge and things like that, she's able to remember everything. And she ends up dying in her 18th life, and in her 19th life she wants to rekindle the relationship and love she had with this boy that she met. But when she meets him, obviously he is still traumatized from the death of her in her previous life, so she's basically trying to kind of, I guess her rival is her own self in the previous life, and so she's trying to rekindle her feelings and relationships for the guy she met in her 18th life. And I think a lot of people say it's really good. The art style looks really nice and clean as well. And yeah, this sounds really, really fun. I know there's a K-drama on it, but I never watched it. But I'm definitely excited to try the manhwa, and it's nice and thick as well. So yeah, those were the 4 volumes that Yempress sent me. Thank you so much, Yempress, again. And now I'm going to go into one of the pre-orders I got, which was Who Made Me a Princess. So this one is stunning. I pre-ordered this on Forbidden Planet because it was a little bit cheaper at the time, so I decided to get it. But I don't think I'll be using Forbidden Planet pre-orders anymore because the shipping's gone up, and also the prices on SciFier are a lot better once the volumes release. So, and with the discount code it's much better. So yeah, but I still haven't read this one, but I love the cover and I'm excited to start this. I'll definitely be doing a try volume 1 manhwa vlog soon, so yeah, look forward to that. And then 2 volumes that I had from SciFier in December that came in January, but I didn't manage to film it, was Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season Volume 4 and Volume 7. So now my collection of this series is complete and I can binge read it in one swoop. So really excited for this one. I'm definitely going to read it soon. So yeah, and then we'll go into some of my used parcels before we go into the big SciFier box. And I got this from World of Books, and I got What Did You Eat Yesterday by Fumi Yoshinaga. The quality of this is pretty disgusting. It's kind of dirty, as you can see. It's banged up here, a little bit bent, very dirty and yellowed as well. So yeah, not the best quality of a book, but I did get it for £4. I don't know, I think that's still quite overpriced for this quality of volume. So we'll see what a book says, if they can send me a replacement if they have any more in stock. But I got this because I wanted to read more food-based relationship manga, and it's because obviously She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat so much that I wanted to find some more manga that had a nice couple and they were cooking. So I heard this one is really good, it's like a slice of life where 2 people who are a couple live together and they just cook and talk about food. So yeah, and Suki Notes really loved this. I remember she loved it so much that she ended up purchasing a bunch of the volumes, and yeah, I'm really excited to try this one out. And then the next one over here. Alright, here we have SHWD Special Hazardous Waste Disposal. This one is a girls' love manga, and I got this because I wanted to see more butch ladies in love type of series, and this one obviously has quite a not your typical skinny lady couple, and I really wanted something like that. See, she's so cute, but she's really buff, and then also there's another buff lady in here, and so I wanted to see these 2 buff ladies and get together. And also this is kind of a horror-ish manga as well. I think it kind of has a lot of crime, and also they're fighting supernatural horrors. They're 2 special agents, and they like each other, or they develop a relationship during the series. But I really wanted something a little bit outside of the box in terms of GL, so I decided to get this, and I'm really excited to try this one out because they look so hot. Look at them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, really excited for this one. Definitely will read it soon and see what I think about it. Alright, and we're on to the big parcel here now. Alright, so we got some parcels here, individually wrapped in plastic. Super excited to get into these. Let's just see, we got a ton of bookmarks. As always, SciFier loves giving us loads of bookmarks. Alright, so let's start with the first one over here. I can see what's on the top already. But yeah, we've got Usotoki Rhetoric Volume 5. Really like this series. It's about a girl who can hear lies when spoken, and she works with this guy who is, I don't remember who he is, but I think he's a detective, or he's a lawyer or something like that. But he helps this guy do like solve mysteries, and obviously because she can hear lies, she's really good at what she does. So, and then they kind of slowly develop a budding relationship, or like kind of hinting at a romance. So this one really focuses on the main plot of the story being around her talents and also the mystery, but it does have a romance subplot. So yeah, I really like this one. And then over here we have The Summer You Were There, and this one is a GL series. I not recently, but I think a few months ago I ended up purchasing volume 3 of this because it was on sale in Forbidden Planet for like really cheap. So I ended up picking that up, and then obviously I wanted to get more volumes of it to actually try, so there should be volume 1 and 2 in this package. But everyone really raves about this one in terms of the GL community and the people who really do like reading girls love, so obviously I had to get it. And I think it's about this girl who ends up writing either a novel, and she is not kind of publishing it or anything, but her classmate ends up finding it and then reading it, and then she's like, oh my gosh, when's like the next chapter coming out? And then she's like obviously mortified because she didn't want anyone to read it or find it, but then she loves the story, so she's like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna be writing anymore. But then she's like, you have to, I can be your inspiration, so I think what we should do is pretend to date so that I can be the inspiration for you to continue your novel. So that's kind of where it starts. I think there's a little bit more darker themes involved, something to do with her past, but I'm not sure because I haven't read it obviously, but really excited to try this and see if I like it. And then I've got The Weakest Tamer Began a Journey to Pick Up Trash, volume 1. So I picked up all the volumes 1, 2 and 3 in this haul because I ended up getting volume 4 for really cheap on Blackwell's, and then someone on the Manga Dudette was talking about how much they enjoyed it, so I decided to pick up the 4th volume when I saw it for cheap, and obviously I needed the earlier volumes to be able to start the series. And it looks absolutely cute. Look at oh my gosh, the drawings inside. But apparently it's a little bit sad because this person is like the weakest tamer, so we'll see what happens, but it looks super cute. And then we've got Children of the Whales volume 21. This was the volume that I was missing in between volumes, so I had 20 and then 22, so I just needed 21, and it was a good price. Also with the 10% off that I used, I was able to get it cheaper. Can't wait to start reading it once all the volumes are out. And then I got volume 2 of Soara and the House of Monsters, and this one is about a girl who basically is supposed to be like hunting monsters, but then she ends up housing them instead, and then with like the help of these people she ends up building a house for the monsters to live, and it's just very sweet, very cute. The art is like so cute, I love it. And they have like these kind of things where they show you like, I don't know how to call it, like this would be considered not really like a floor plan, but more like a diagram of inside the houses and stuff like that, and I really like that, and yeah, it looks so cool. But yeah, definitely check this one out. Also, I think by the time this video goes up, my SciFier code will actually only count for 5% off your entire order now. They ended up changing the affiliate codes from 10% off your entire order to 5% off. So yeah, you can still use my code for an extra 5% off, but obviously it's not as good as the 10% that it used to be. At least 5% is better than nothing. But yeah, definitely if you want to purchase from SciFier, the volumes of manga that they put out is still really good price and really cheap. So even if you don't get the 10% extra, you're still saving a lot of money in the long run than buying it anywhere else and also in store. So yeah, use my code up here, Liddy Reads, for 5% off your SciFier orders. But yeah, we got to the next package. But we've got, I Love You So Much, I Hate You. This one is an office-based adult romance, a GL romance, and I heard that it's really good, so I wanted to get it. And obviously it is plastic wrap, which I didn't know that it would be, but now I'm really excited because there's not much, in my opinion, more saucy Yuri series a lot of them have like involve high school students, which I'm not super interested in reading about in terms of like if there's like mature content in there. But if it's between adults, I am definitely open to reading a little bit more spicier stuff, so really excited about this one. And then we got Associate Professor Akira Takatsuki's Conjecture. This one is kind of like a mystery series where this guy can also hear lies when spoken, so it kind of isolates him from making friends and just kind of dealing with people, because he finds that humans are a lot more deceptive than people think, because they always lie. And he ends up meeting a new professor at where he's studying, and the professor has a thing for like legends as well as like supernatural occurrences, and he is seeking out these supernatural occurrences that are happening around the area, and he ends up partnering with this guy who can hear lies to kind of uncover these supernatural occurrences and also see if they are true. And it's quite fun. I really liked the first volume actually, and it's very interesting in terms of the relationships between them. And also the professor is one of those people who never actually lies, so he is like, oh, that's really unique in terms of what he's dealt with. He's never dealt with anyone who actually doesn't lie constantly, so they end up kind of teaming up together to solve these supernatural occurrences, and I really liked it. I like the dynamic between them and excited to read more of it. And then we've got the first volume of The Summer You Were There, as I already talked about this one. Excited to read it. And then we've got The Tearmoon Empire Volume 3. I think I also got Volume 2 in this order, but this one is I think it's a reincarnation story, but I don't know if it was an isekai or if it's a reincarnation, but she is put back into the body of her younger self, and obviously in the future she is kind of like exiled or executed, or she has a bad ending basically, and she tries to turn that around and be a better person. And then obviously once she starts being a better person, things around her change and her relationships improve with people that she once had bad relationships with. And yeah, it's just really, really good. And then we've got Volume 3 of The Weakest Tamer, Began a Journey to Pick Up Trash. I should have Volume 2 somewhere as well. Absolutely adorable. I love the little watercolor pages. And then here we go, The Tearmoon Empire Volume 2. And the last one in this pack is A Home Far Away by Teki Yatsuda. So what interested me in this story initially was Teki Yatsuda is the same person who did Yakuza Bias, and I absolutely loved the artwork in Yakuza Bias. And so I was like, oh, I wonder what other stuff they've done. And they did this, which is a kind of BL story, and I heard it's a little bit tragic, so it's a bit of a different story than I usually would read, because I'm not like into super melodramatic tragic stories, but I loved this person's art style, so I decided to give this a go. And I know a lot of people loved it, and also they really enjoyed the elements that were in the story, even though it was quite tragic. So really excited to try this one. Alright, we got the next parcel here. So yeah, so we got Volume 2 and Volume 3 of Acid Town. This one is by Kyugo, which is a mangaka that I really, really used to love reading back in the day when their works weren't obviously licensed in English, and I really liked reading their one-shots and also their kind of, I guess they used to do like doujinshis. Yeah, I really liked reading their work, so I decided to get Acid Town. And this one I don't really know 100% if it has like a BL element to it. It does have a like BL element between his friend and the main character, but it's kind of like unrequited at the moment, and I don't know if something happens between and this guy. But these two friends end up getting caught by this yakuza because they were trying to steal things from them, but because they were able to get through the security system of this yakuza, they're like, okay, you've made a fool out of us, so that means you guys have a choice to work for us and then we'll let you off if you work for us. And so these two friends decide to work for the yakuza, and they like do things. I forgot what it was, but I remember enjoying the first one, and so I ended up picking up volume 2 and 3. And I think there's some kind of thing maybe going on between them later on. I'm not 100% sure, but I am really excited to read these. And also, I find that Kyugo's work is very reminiscent of Koyonada's work, where it's a little bit more dark, gritty, a little bit more sad in terms of some of the themes. There's a lot of trauma behind their main characters, which I find is very similar to Twittering Birds Never Fly, because the main character in there has a lot of trauma in their past, and I think something happened with this guy in his past as well that is quite traumatic, and those things are kind of coming to light as well in the story. So really enjoy these type of more grittier stories. And then we got In the Land of Leadale Volume 5. I talked about this story many times, and I just got the 5th volume that came out recently. And then we've got Maiden of the Needle Volume 2. I actually really enjoyed this story when I read it for the first time. And it's about a girl who has like this family who are supposed to be renowned for being able to do this magic thread power, where they're able to, whilst they're making clothes, they can like put magic in them, and she is not able to do that, and her family are like treat her like horribly, like a servant, and then one day they just sell her off because they're like, you're useless to us. But then the place that she ends up, they find out that her magic is actually a lot more powerful than they realize, because it's so rare that her family weren't able to notice that she was able to do it. And then because she's like very gifted, they don't want her old family to find out, because then they'll obviously take her back and try to like abuse her power. So she ends up trying to get the protection of one of these kings, I think. But then there's like something, a little bit spoiler for the end of the first volume. He ends up asking her to marry him so that he can protect her, but I feel like that's a bit weird because he's an adult and she's only like 16. So it was a little bit weird at the end of that volume, because I feel like there's a better way for him to be able to protect her. But I still really enjoyed like the threading aspect, the way she makes clothes, as well as making them like really fashionable. I really liked that aspect of the story. So I want to try and continue it and see if it doesn't get too weird in terms of their relationship. I hope it's just kind of like he protects her and there's nothing weird going on, but we'll see. And yeah, I did enjoy it, so I will definitely continue and see how it goes. And then we got Lullaby of the Dawn Volume 2. I actually haven't read the first volume yet, but I got Volume 2 because I just went a little bit crazy. But yeah, this one is a kind of BL story. I think it's set in like a different time. I heard loads of good things about it, so I got the second volume. And then I got Catch These Hands Volume 4. This one is about two delinquents back in high school, and then both of them were kind of rivals back in the day, but then they meet again and they end up hanging out, and I think one of them actually had like a crush on the other but never admitted it, and then they finally kind of admit it, and then they spend more time together, and it's like apparently really cute. And it's only 4 volumes, so I got the last volume so that I can read the entirety of it. And then here's The Weakest Tamer Began a Journey to Pick Up Trash Volume 2. And then the last one here we've got is Pink Heart Jam. This one, so many people talk about this series, this BL series, and it being really good, and loads of people like it, so I got it, and yeah, I'll see how it is. And we got the last package here. I think you may have seen what some of the volumes might have been from what you saw at the cover, but we've got... Alright, so we've got 4 volumes of one series, which is Yakuza Fiance Reis Watane ga Ii. So we got volume 3 over here, volume 4, volume 5. This cover is so stunning. Like, look at Yoshino. Just ignore Kirishima, but just look at Yoshino. And then we got volume 6 here. This is my favorite character. I love him so much. But yes, this one I actually reread the first 2 volumes, and because initially I didn't really enjoy it. If you If you watched one of my recent videos, my top 5 recent reads, I will have mentioned this as kind of like an honorable mention because I initially read it and I didn't really enjoy it as much the first volume, considering how much hype it was getting, and then when I reread it I enjoyed it a lot more. And also because a character was introduced, this one in volume 2, and I literally fell in love with him and I love him so much. So he kind of made the story for me. So I enjoyed it a lot more, and I'm really excited to find out what happens, as well as seeing more of this character Shoma. And yeah, so I ended up picking up the rest of the volumes that were already released, and I absolutely love the covers and the spines for this series, and I'm really happy to have this and continue the series. I personally don't like Kirishima, the guy character. I feel like he's a piece of shit, and yeah, that's the nicest way to put it for me. But I really love Yoshino and her strength and her character, and the fact that she just like takes no bullshit from anyone. So that's why this character and also Shoma kind of made the story for me again when I reread it. So yeah, that's why I picked up the rest of the volumes, and yeah, excited to see what happens next. Definitely check out my kind of initial review of the series in my top 5 recent reads video. And then the next one we have is Nina the Starry Bride Volume 2. Really love this series. I read it up to volume 7 on the Kodansha app and absolutely loved it. Nina at the beginning is a little bit meek and a little bit bratty, but she definitely develops within the story. So if you've read maybe like the first 2 volumes and you thought, oh, she's like really annoying, she actually does get a lot stronger and she does definitely grow as a character. So I would say stick with it. And I love Azure. He's my personal ship for this series, but I know a lot of people like the other guy. Yeah, I'm shipping these two, but I really love this story and you should definitely check it out. And then the second last one we've got is The Moon on a Rainy Night. This one is a high school GL series, and I read volume 1 in January and absolutely loved it. It's about 2 high school girls. One of them is actually deaf and hard of hearing, but she mostly can hear in a quiet room and also lip read, so she doesn't really use sign language. And one of the girls who's next to her ends up being kind of forced to make friends with her because her teacher is like, hey, she's kind of like alone, can you help her out? So she kind of tries to be friends with her, but then obviously she's a bit like, I just want to be alone, leave me alone. But she's like, no, I'm gonna do my best to try and make friends with you. So they end up starting a really nice friendship because she gets a new piano teacher, and the piano teacher is actually her mum, so she visits their house often, so they end up hanging out together a lot, and they start this really nice friendship. And the thing about it is that obviously this girl has feelings for women, and then so she ends up kind of falling for her friend, and she's trying to kind of keep it a secret because obviously she is always like, oh yeah, you're my really good friend and stuff like that. So she feels like obviously her friend doesn't feel that same way about her. So it's kind of developing that story at the moment in terms of what will happen. The art style is stunning though. It's very pretty. But yeah, I really love this series. I would definitely recommend you guys to give it a shot, especially if you like girls' love stories. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how their relationship develops and if they get together. Yeah, I love it. And the last one in this box is My Gently Raised Beast Volume 5. The quality of this volume is really bad, so I definitely need to speak to SciFier about that one. This one is like, well, I don't know what happened, but yeah, this one's pretty bad. But yeah, this one is volume 5 of this manhwa series that I really enjoy. I've talked about it many times, but it's about the human race and also these mythical creatures who reside in the human world, and they are in human form, but they're also able to transform into mythical creatures. And there's this girl who is pretty much isolated. Her mom passes away, and then she finds out that she's kind of like an illegitimate child of this higher ranking family or like a duke or whatever, and then they find her and then take her to become part of high society, but she's obviously ostracized by that society because she's an illegitimate child, and so she's pretty much alone. And then she meets this kind of cat-like creature and then starts making friends with him, and then finds out that he can actually turn into a human boy. And then so their friendship develops, and it kind of sees them growing up together, and then he's kind of obsessed with her and like very possessive of her. And the main character girl is also really feisty. I really like her personality. She sticks up for herself. She doesn't take no bullshit from the people who are like trying to bully her or be mean to her, and I really love that about her. And I think there's going to be a really nice relationship and romance that is going to start between them. So yeah, really love this one. Check it out if you haven't already. So this was everything I got in this February manga haul. Really happy to have these, and also have been able to spend some money on manga in the month of February. Obviously I was very good in January and didn't purchase anything, so this was a slightly larger haul for me. Hope you enjoyed this video and this manga haul. Like, comment and subscribe as always for more manga content, and let me know down below if you've read any of these and if you've enjoyed them, and also if you got any recommendations from me today from the ones that I got today. Make sure to also use my code LadyReads for 5% off all your manga purchases on SciFier.com. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!